Hi everyone, it's Bitcoin from the Big Chubowski in the second round of this week. Now, as you probably or didn't notice, I didn't record the first round because the guy auto-deployed, and I did see the auto-deploy coming. I kind of thought about making a video sort of explaining how I approach auto-deploy, which is primarily through a bot called PrimeBot on Discord, where you can put in the ally code of the person, and then you'll get updates whether they have increased their lifetime score or not, which shows you basically if they're setting a defense at all, and if they're not, then you can prepare accordingly. So what I would advise to anyone out there is to make at least a defensive plan for a scenario in which your opponent auto-deploys. And then you just wait until the end if you're thinking that they might not set their defense. And then if they don't set it in the last whatever minutes or hours that you have, you can set that backup plan. And this is mostly applicable during the first round of the week, especially in the first week or the second week of a season. It's a lot less likely in the third or fourth, but in this case it did happen to me in the third week. Now, of course, you could say it's like a vicious cycle. If everyone waits to set defense, then everyone else might think you're going to auto-deploy. But you could mitigate this, for example, by setting a couple teams or setting your fleets already on defense to indicate that you are going to be setting defense, and don't make another opponent wait until the end, and then both go with the anti-auto-deploy plan, basically, which usually involves just keeping your absolute strongest teams for offense and setting just enough to block them from full clearing you, because if for whatever reason you don't manage to full clear them, you need to ensure that they don't get through your defense as well. And for some people who have a pretty big roster with a lot of relic characters, there could be ways for them to still clear you if you set a very light defense. So this guy here, Samulast, he had 3 Galactic Legends, so an auto-deploy with 3 is pretty brutal. And unfortunately, I did not do very well. I slept I just didn't sleep the 2 nights before, because I'm struggling a bit with that. And as a result, I messed up in 3 of his zones, so on 3 teams, and actually ended up with a score of 26-10, which is my lowest for the season. And I'm quite bummed out about it, because if you watched the last episode, I was on track to be top 10. And in fact, if I would not have dropped 60 banners here-ish, then I would have been 30 banners ahead of the guy who was rank 1 at the time. So that puts me in a pretty good position. Now, unfortunately, having lost this, it's already unlikely I'll even make it to the top 10 to begin with, because you just can't afford to drop that many banners. I'm still gonna give it a shot, but who knows, of course it's no guarantee. I could face a really tough opponent this week or next week. That could ruin everything. I could miss out on a feat, I could have game crashes, all of that stuff, but I'm sad because I was quite invested in it, and it was actually going really well for once. And in 5v5 with 4 Galactic Legends, you can't really compete against the people who have none or maybe 1, and who just undersize absolutely everything. The banner difference is just too big. So what I did then, I can just very briefly show you and then get into the match, is I failed on the SLK, which was a very stupid mistake. I sent in my Ray, and in my head I had this scenario where SLK would target one of the side characters, but instead he went for Ray, which took her pretty low. And later on, after my ultimate, I was just I think 10 or 20% turn meter away from whirlwinding out SLK. He got a turn in before me because it was a pretty fast one, and then took out Ray, who was still relatively low. So that messed up that fight. Then in the bottom here, I failed on the Kylo team. This one was I was already in a bad mood because I did the other one first, but this one was pretty awful. I did General Skywalker and Ahsoka, and Ahsoka's killing shot on Kylo Ren was dodged, and then he killed her, which meant that, of course, that's after General Skywalker was toppled, and then he killed her, which wouldn't have happened otherwise, and I would have been okay for quite a few more turns. But then I got out of topple with essentially very little protection and immediately got taken out. So I was pretty salty about that one. That shouldn't have happened at all, and I could have maybe prevented it by bringing more characters or something like that, but that was a pretty odd fight. I was not too happy with it. And then in the back, I was just running low on teams, having failed the other 2, and me trying to get a feat done still. I got stuck on a really long loop between Thrawn, Traya, and Shaq that I just couldn't out damage. So unfortunately, that was a loss as well. Yeah. So dropped quite a lot of banners, kind of unnecessarily. Really not happy with it because it's the first non-actual match I'm doing in the season. And immediately dropping so many banners on it was a bit of a disappointment for me, but I'll just move on and try to do my best. Hopefully, in the event that I do well in the upcoming weeks, I don't miss out on top 10 by under 60 banners, because I will be pretty sad about that. So this round I'm fighting Mephisto. Now Mephisto is actually in my squad arena. He's not in the chat because for whatever reason he doesn't really like sort of like cooperating with people or just communicating with anyone at all. It's a little bit weird. I don't know what his exact reasons are. It's been too long ago since anyone has spoken to him. He's from the guild FFM. He's got 634k lifetime and he has just 2 Galactic Legends. So he beat someone with 3, I believe. And now we are facing off. So for this match, I honestly, like, considering he has 2 Galactic Legends, I didn't do a whole lot of preparation. I just briefly checked his history and he mostly does exactly the same thing. So when I see that, and given I have such a GL advantage, there just isn't a whole lot to be concerned about. So I often check the third line last character here when sorting by speed, because it gives you a bit of an indication how sort of fast are the speeds across this person's roster, and it also gives you some indication of what typically their fastest characters are. Of course they don't lock in with this, so it could have changed in the meantime, but there's still indicators that give you an idea of what kind of player it is. So he hasn't attacked yet, unless he did in the meantime. And set pretty much the same as he usually does, maybe in another placement order, but all the teams are there. So yeah, I can sum them up, but you see them. It's one thing I want to stop doing, is just stating the obvious. Like, all the teams are right there, everyone can see them. Everyone knows what's out there, there's no particular modding to it, anything like that. On my defense, I've gone with some of these teams. Put me on defense this time. This over here, this stuff over here. And then in the back I put SEE in this case, because he likes to use his SLK in the front on Darth Revan, and that leaves him just JML for the back against SEE. He doesn't really have another answer to Darth Revan unless he's smart enough to use JML, but I'm not sure if he's going to be doing that. And even if he does, I should be okay banner-wise, because he's not particularly efficient in 3v3. So I feel pretty confident there, as long as I just do my battles well. So I'm going to get started against the CLS team. And there I'll be using my resistance. Where are we at? BB-8 and R2. And just get the party started, I guess. Last time this didn't go too well with, I think it was BB-8 going down. Mostly because I could not get 3PO under control here at the start, which is pretty important. So let's see what we can do this time. Okay, this time we did get the control. So that's very useful. We get to cleanse this. And it's just probably going to make a world of difference. Now instead of doing a burn here, which is useful, especially if I land the exposed, because then BB-8 can wiggle and reduce a bit of turn meter, I'd honestly much rather get the stun. Though 3PO here is ability blocked. So based on that, I would actually go for the burn, because even if he takes a turn, it shouldn't hurt too much. Okay. Now we reapply this. Let's control CLS this time. And hopefully I can take out 3PO before any turns. Let's take a look here. Still ability blocked. CLS is also pretty harmless, so I'm gonna go with the burn here. Normally seeing you would want a basic, but in this scenario the guy is gonna go down here. I'd almost be tempted to let him go down through burning. Question is, do I want to risk that? I think I do. Also because this just helps me throughout the fight a lot more. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. I'm happy with that one. So this should be a 53. Because Illuminated Destiny, it's too far off, I'm not gonna try. We're still 12 turns, as you could see there. Of course getting reduced, but that's pretty good. Let's fight Darth Revan next. Going to be using SLK against that one. Could have also done Rey or whatever else, but I'm okay with this. Just not super fond of the rather low damage with the health modding that I've currently got, but they're not going to put up too much of a fight here. If there was a Relic 7 Marauder, maybe it would look a little bit different, but even then I think I'd be okay. Get the health steal in, 55. So for this one, similar strategy to 5v5, you direct focus General Anakin, and then you start the painstaking process of getting him down very slowly. And whenever you need to do an assist call, you can do it just for the turn meter if you need to beat anyone to a turn. In this case here, I didn't need to, so I don't bother. Do a basic here. The AoE is very nice to get some good damage in. Another AoE here to drop him slightly more. And there we go. This one was way easier than they usually are. So pretty happy with that. I think last time it was a much more elaborate explanation of like how to maneuver through it. Because there are many scenarios where you would want to call Grandmaster Yoda to assist, even if it feeds protection up. Because of the turn meter that he gains, it's really important, especially in 3v3, to get through them in time and not time out. Is there any reason? Not really. So important to remember that Padme's basic cannot be dodged, so if she has a lot of courage stacks, she will hurt your Grandmaster Yoda. In 3v3 it's pretty unlikely that that will kill him, because she can't build up that much, but it's still possible. So now is a typical scenario. Padme's about to take a turn, and I want my Grandmaster Yoda to maybe go before her. He did manage. Obviously I can't reduce the turn meter because of her lead, but I can still try to get some damage in before she heals. But in this case she did a basic, so that's fine. Another example here, I'd rather he go a bit faster and spread this. Okay, there's gonna be no audio there for a sec because I'm clearing my throat. Yeah, you kind of get the gist of it. You just have to sort of see where things are at, and whenever you have a chance to lower the health a little bit, you basically take it. And whenever you need to do an assist call, like now to get Grandmaster Yoda further ahead, you take that too. Starting to get close. This is another example. I want to do the assist call, get Grandmaster Yoda ahead of Padme here, which then ensures the kill. So they're just little things that make the fight doable, even if they're all Relic 7 or whatever relic level. But if you don't do those things, it's basically why I'm pointing them out, then it's possible that you either end up timing out, or they start getting kills, or you don't end up with 54 banners. And since it's a pretty easy fight, it's kind of a waste to not get that banner count. Alright, what have we got in the back? He didn't set a specific defense against me, so this has been here since before. Unfortunately, since I used my SLK, I'll have to do something else against the Bastilla JML team. So unfortunately, I was supposed to keep that SLK for the back in case he did this, which I didn't do. And there are quite a few options against this team. Unfortunately, I have none of them available, like the General Skywalker 501st teams that are quite popular. I only have Ahsoka, and you could try and add something like Watt, but then you lose the counter chance and a lot of other things. So that's not really an option. There are also options with JKR, General Skywalker and Han, but then your JKR needs to outspeed the Watt, because after the stun, Watt still takes a turn. And since Watt here is 333, that's not happening either. Also my JKR was already used in the front wall, but just kind of naming the counters, even if I would have had him, it wouldn't have mattered. There are also some with Thrawn lead, CLS and C-3PO, and a couple of other combinations like that, but CLS is on defense, where you essentially set up a turn meter removal loop against JML, and then you just gradually take him down over time, which of course has some kind of timeout risk. So pretty much low on options. SCE is another option, but he's in the back on defense, and it's kind of ironic that I set a trap to make him spend the SLK, and then I like fall for one myself. I think while I was talking about the previous round, I kind of forgot that my actual plan was to use Ray over there, and I also wrote that down, so I should have looked at that, but kind of lost track. So my options are very limited. There's not really any combination of Ray that can do this. You could try Ray Han Chewy, but really all I'm gonna do against a Relic 5 Watt is stun him, and then he will still get the tech out, and there's nothing I can do to prevent that. So no option there either. Another consideration could be like JML or Ray with JKR and Han, and then you kind of double down on Watt with first a stun to waste a bonus turn, and then if JKR is faster, you can reduce the cooldown and then go for him. But again, I don't have that option available. Long story short, I pretty much have what I think is one option, which is JML lead, and then with General Skywalker and Hermit Yoda. Now you don't want to put in JKL here. He unfortunately doesn't really do anything. You don't need like the separate damage from the two. What you need is focus damage on your character, and you're just calling one to assist anyway. So that's probably what I'll end up doing. Now I wish I had the ultimate for this one. Maybe that would help a fair bit, because after the ultimate, the damage output increases a fair bit, which is through the 35% offense up for the end of, like, until the end of the battle. That makes a pretty big difference, I think, but I don't have that. I only just finished the ultimate materials for JML today, so that's not an option. So now that I'm thinking about it, without that ultimate, that is probably the win condition, because this counter has like a 70% chance of success statistically out of like 40 to 50 matches. So I don't really expect this to work. Another option could be just trying General Skywalker and Ahsoka, but they just have too little damage. And there have also been some people that use Ki Adimundi, but I suspect it's the same story. It's dependent on the ultimate. So I don't really think, no matter what I do, that I'll be able to get through. There's some people who use Bastilla as well instead of Hermit Yoda here for the buffing and the ability blocking. That's another option. But I guess I'll just go with the JML variant here with General Skywalker and Hermit Yoda. And I guess worst case scenario, I take out Bastilla and I take out Watt, and then I have to clean up JML. That's kind of what I had in mind. So let's try it, and I'll have to do it fast-paced. I'm going to be talking too much, as I have been doing, if I want to stand a good chance at getting through. So let's get started. Try and get as many armor shreds as possible on JML. And just like in 5v5, JML constantly focuses on General Skywalker, which is super annoying, but there's not a whole lot you can do. And of course, none of that stuff lands. Use the heals whenever available, because I'll be needing them. I could try and go around taunt here, like focus down Bastilla, but Bastilla, as you can imagine, has a lot of survivability too. So it doesn't really accomplish a whole lot. It's better, I think, to just focus on JML. Let Bastilla add some buffs and stuff. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. And then gradually, like now, I'm already starting to get close to putting Bastilla under that protection threshold, which I just did. I should have maybe gone for the cooldown reduction there. That would have been smarter. Let's do this. Let's do it now. So I need a second here. Keep this guy alive. Yeah, he's starting to hurt a bit. Okay, Watt is starting to look lower. That's good. Let's get another armor shred. It'll probably end up being like 15 armor shreds or whatever. Let's keep this up. I don't really need to put the lessons on GML for any reason. 250, okay. Okay, that's both gone in one go, that's nice. I think I might even put it on autoplay here, but I don't really want to waste stupid attacks. That could maybe help me get through all this protection. But I think it's unlikely. It's really unlikely that I'll be able to get through it here. I can try, but he takes too many turns. And I've already reduced the protection to nothing, I think. So yeah, it's kind of as I feared, but all I really need him to do is drop 1 or 2 battles. And then I'll be fine. I was hoping I could like one-shot everything, because this is another 20 banners gone that probably put me out of reach from the top, whatever it is, top 10. Like now, this is the closest I've gotten. Oh, come on, it was so close. You could see it there. I was almost through that bonus protection. So it feels like it's possible, but it's really difficult. And you need a lot of time to cycle through to get those optimal conditions where all of the attacks line up. And I just didn't get it here. So it does seem possible based on that. Like, of course, like there's been a good success rate, so a lot of people have done this. But the JML Ultimate would make the difference there, I think. And alongside that, perhaps having better modding on General Skywalker, like more crit damage, etc. And more protection on JML as well, so that these moves hit harder. There's a couple of options there. Let's go. I should have been an assist call there, but like essentially every time I miss a move, I reset the progress, which is not really ideal. But I'm just trying to figure out what I can do here. And let's do this. Keep going. It's gonna time out, pretty sure. But at least I gave it a shot, and it shows to other people as well, sort of like, what are you playing with? How difficult is it to do this? How much damage do you need? What kind of stats? And this JML, I believe, had like 120k protection, to give you an idea. And right now I'm so close, but just out of reach. That one time, I think if I would sort of freeze frame it there, you'd see just has basically one hit away from falling under. And once he falls under, he doesn't recover all of that extra protection anymore, which is essentially a bug of 2 different uniques, or 2 different abilities stacking. But anyway, I made good progress, so I'll just try to get through the rest as efficiently as possible, and then call it a day. Now this has broken Hermit Yoda off from JKL. And it leaves Ahsoka kind of homeless. That's fine though. Alright. So as mentioned before, if Soldier's there, it's very nice because you can cycle through the turns perfectly without any of your characters getting hit. So you start with a Force Crush, you go into Merciless, you pick off Spy, then you can basic Geo Soldier, basic Alpha, you Force Crush on Brute, who normally counters, and you cannot do that if Sunfac is here. The one basic would get you countered. Then you take out him, and then you can do any move with Thrawn, it doesn't really matter. You'll always win. And it's like a 30-second 54. So if you set this team, at least swap out Soldier for Sunfac to make that maybe a bit more difficult. Also more survivable. Let's see, I'll leave Grievous for a bit, because there it kind of depends. Like, do I need Rey to clean up the JML is the question there. And I think I probably do. Bastelaki, Adimundi, and Ahsoka. Don't really see why it wouldn't work. Besides Kara reviving a ridiculous amount, but maybe Ahsoka helps with some dispelling there. Yeah, let's try. Get her low. I can kill, but there's not much of a point. I'd rather have her waste the heal / revive. Or just go down like this, I suppose. Okay, let's do that until I can dispel it. And now Ahsoka can get the kill, maybe. This should counter. Oh, interesting, he goes for that guy. Okay, she's down. Don't want to trigger Biggs with a weaker move. Yeah, no, I might not make this one. Doesn't look good. I need to get control here. And I didn't get the chance to really go for Biggs. Yeah, this Pastilla gone. This is going to be a loss. That's pretty annoying, but it was a bit of a gamble anyway. I've sort of accepted that I won't be getting top 10, so then you might as well try some things out. That's not a whole lot of damage there for Ahsoka. Yeah, Mon Mothma is a bit ridiculous. And here it feels like it's close, but it's not going to be. She's going to get him back alive in a second. And there's pretty much nothing I can do. I say him, but I mean her, obviously. Double basic is more attractive than armor shred. But let's do armor shred because it's a big hit. Okay, nice. That was only 80k and it still got it done. Usually I hit a bit harder. With the... I mean, like if I start with the armor shred, I never really get him down that far. So maybe he's a much more protection-based character than I realize. Okay, I'm gonna try and fight the Grievous team now because I probably need Rey to clean up the JML. I was thinking of using JKL over here. Not expecting too much of it. Would have been awesome if I had Barriss. Or really any fast Jedi here. But I don't. It's gonna be tricky to get in control. Weapon tech is a consideration on my JKL. But not sure that's gonna be the way to go. Perhaps survivability is nicer. And a way to cleanse the healing immunity. So I think if I can... And the stun... Well, you can be stunned. Let's just go for turns. I think turns is going to be the safest bet here. Oh wow, well Ben goes first. I wouldn't have thought. And actually he's decently fast. I recently upgraded him. So that's good. Let's get some dots on him. Get B2 out of here. Yeah, this should be okay. Just push back the turn meter. It's a pretty strong team in the end. Some defense up to protect me from another AoE if it's coming. Maybe do this as well. Just have to be careful that he doesn't stack too much, but I think I've got it. Old Ben gets the kill, that's nice. The old guy's like, I still got it. So if I can trigger an extra whirlwind this way, that would be very nice. Let's just use the heal whenever it's available. Yeah, I'm thinking... I can't really think of a great reason why I would have needed to bring Holdo here, actually, now that I'm in. But I kind of just rushed in for it. I want to be done with this match. Because the ultimate here is going to finish it off very nicely. Or close to it anyway. A Holdo kill would have been pretty funny. Well, it's still a 34, so that's fine. Bounty Hunters. That's Han and Chewie, and I'll bring. I think I might give her a shot here. Like a little bit better than a wedge lead here. So in this case I want to go for Bosk first. Get the buff immunity. I think Grief can clear that actually. We'll find out momentarily. Let's push back his turn meter then, in case he comes out of that stun and immediately taunts. Looks like he didn't. Hopefully an ability block on... not on Grief. Not a huge fan of that. Okay. Let's try and get Boba out. Good. I don't mind Bosk countering. It's pretty innocent. Now Chewie should be smashing here. Yeah, this is solid. Yeah, let's try. Not sure Officer is going to be the right call here. Let's figure it out. So I go ahead here, obviously. Pass the turn. I wouldn't have minded the burning, but that's going to be his first move when he gets out of this whole thing. Now instead of doing an AoE to feed some turn meter, I'd rather try and stun Newt. Perfect. And then with counters get a hold of B1 a bit. So I can push back the turn meter here if it succeeds anyway. I do have to hit Django to get those taunts going every time. And now I think I will still go for Newt actually. Okay, it was the gamble, didn't work out for me. Let's pass the turn here. Wait for the dog to settle down. Let's do another stun on Django. Nope. I'm not really getting the RNG here. Another attempt. Okay, this time I finally got it. Stun Newt and now start doing those AoEs. Took long enough. Do another basic. So far, besides the burning, Django hasn't done much. Let's see if I can keep it that way. I'll do an AoE now. Because now I can push back turn meter. That was good. Do this. B1 will ruin any chances of me getting full protection or even keeping the officer alive. And Newt is also going to revive at some point. So first I will take out the B1. Get a stun on Newt. That was kind of dumb. I should have done an AoE there. That's fine though. Do this. Let's get him out. Okay, no damage there. I got lucky. Cleanse that. Pass the turn to make sure he's full. And that's a 52. There are no, obviously, like no first order feat kills here. Because that has to be with the actual troopers. So that's what I'll use the secondary team for. Against Dooku. With Hux. These two, I just have to make sure I don't kill anything with Hux. That's the main part. Now what's nice here with Hux is that I don't get countered, which is what Dooku lead provides. Let's see if I can immediately kill that one. I hope that counts as a Sith Trooper kill. Otherwise I'll be pretty bummed out. Okay, do the taunt here. There we go. That was it. That was the thing that was not supposed to happen. So I guess I asked for it. I should have probably brought Phasma so that this wouldn't be an issue. And I actually get 2 with Hux, so... RIP feet. That's sad after this round and the past one. But there's still 10 days, I guess, so... I'll get it done another time. Wasn't quite sure off the top of my head if this one expired or not. So very often he actually puts Biston in the front lineup here, I believe, that I saw in his history, but I didn't check too much. In this case he didn't. And I've never actually done this lineup against Biston. I don't really know how the nuances of the fight play out. So what did I establish here last time? I'm trying to remember, but I don't really. I think just the ability block on that one was best. Then boost this turn. Get as far as possible. I believe the play might have been going for bigs first. I don't really remember. Because he has potential protection recovery. Okay, I've got to kill this one before the ghost comes in. Should be pretty easy. And it gets me like 64. Okay, thought it was gonna be 5. I guess Xanadu Blood was a bit short. It should still be an okay score for having dropped that those 20 banners, but would have been nice to get a clean run in. Offense down on Vader. Of course, defense down. Don't really want to trigger that foresight right now. Not before I get this move off. Now hopefully kill... Okay, he retaunted. I thought he was gonna... that's why I'm supposed to... You're right. So if Anakin gets that buff immunity off, you prevent this part and then you can pick off Vader. In this case I couldn't do that. So that's probably gonna hurt. Wow, that was huge. Unexpected. This is also huge for him though. We're gonna start digging into reinforcements like this. So the only one who's gonna be hitting TFB is Anakin, hopefully. Clear that. Not really much of a choice. Maybe get them down before anything else comes in. Nice. So 2651, not my best score. It's going to be a challenge for him to beat it. I don't know if I'm going to show you what he did, because that's probably going to take quite a while. So maybe I'll just show you in the final round if he won or not. But we'll see how things go. I'm not particularly worried, to be honest, but maybe I should be. We'll find out. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next round. I'll show you the result then.